It was very absurd, and I want to tell the State House team that a decision to drag, and the Charlene Ruto's decision to come out and put up that press briefing about Gen Z was misadvised at the time when part of the protests, part of the issues that people are protesting about is President's family, First Lady, Second Lady, and Third Lady, and all that, being involved in governance of the country. It was misadvised, and I think that Charlene Ruto should just give us a break. I think she doesn't have that authority, that moral authority, to lecture anyone in this country. She's not part. I don't think she's part of the people that were elected. So we need to be very strategic, even in our communications. I want us to look at that and clearly why the president's family is getting deeply involved in governance. It's one of the things that I think I was just having some peer talks with one of our friends here, and was telling me that's a wrong trend. That's a very wrong direction. Kindly, before we look at that, I want to say thank you. As you can see, I am still in Nakuru. Yeah, this is the last video, of course, that I'm doing in Nakuru. I came to make sure that we take Brenda to the hospital as I had promised. So we were able to take her to the hospital this Wednesday. They did the x-ray and she was treated. And by this time we came home. So we used part of the money for that treatment. Then what remained, we did a cash transfer of 60,000 to support her. And of course, medicine and other supplements that she needs. So I would also want you to hear her voice here. And asanteni sana. We've really done something to that lady. I was so touched because I realized the reason why some of the protesters could not even be treated is because in Nakuru, after that incident, the police were going to the wards, and if they find you with gunshots, wounds, even after being treated, you are arrested. Hi guys, so we're in free area, Nakuru. Yeah, so we're with Brenda. It's quite a long day. Brenda, first on behalf of the Gen X that are members of this, and also me, we want to say Pole. I was told that there are things that our parents and I probably did not do, and that is why your team is actually fighting for us. And it's very heartwarming kwamba even at the end of it, you could still stay a luta continua. Brenda, what happened? Ilikuwa aje hiyo siku?
So tulikuwa tumetoka, so maandamano ilikuwa within town. So watu wakatoka, walikuwa wanapita like the whole town places. So wakakuja hivi sides za State House. So si wakasimama, then there's a field in opposite State House. Side ya chini, so people are there, they were like...
Ilikuwa field outside State House?
Opposite State House. Kuna highway imepita, then State House side ya chini, kuna ka field. So we were there, like a lot of us, with flags, nini. So obviously we were fighting for the finance bill to be dropped. Then they opened fire, wakaanza kushatia gas, then they opened fire. When they opened fire, wakati nilikuwa nakimbia for my life, nikagonga, kama niligonga mawe, then nikaanguka. Then nikaangukia tena mawe wengine. Then nika dislocate the hip joint. Then sasa watu wenye walikuwa wanakimbia, so watu kukanyaga wakienda hivyo.
Na uwezi amka?
Hapana, sikuwa naweza simama. Yeah, so that's basically what happened. So ikabidi nimelala hapo hadi like watu wote wametoroka, then the police wakaenda, then somebody mwenye alikuwa anapita ndio nikaita mtu pikipiki akanipa nini.
But the police didn't care kwamba mtu ako chini and they...
No, they didn't.
Pole sana on behalf of us. So guys, that is what happened to Brenda. So we've had a long day. We had to the hospital. The x-ray has been done and we may find out that this located hip joint. So he's been put under medication. Wamesema after what they have done, sasa watafanya physiotherapy. Then after physiotherapy, there are also some other medicines that sasa itabidi ununue so that you take.
Yeah.
And we really thank you guys because the Brenda case was very emotive. Kwamba know that tulikuwa msichana wengi sana pale.
Tulikuwa wasichana wengi.
And really tell us, where do you think mademu litokea this time?
Najua watu wamechoka because sisi tuko hapa jobless na sisi tumemaliza shule.
Wewe umemaliza?
So people are there. They're like tumemaliza shule, we don't have jobs, kazi ni kukaa kwa nyumba. Nobody wants to employ us.
What did you study?
Veterinary medicine.
Veterinary medicine. So guys, nani alifanya veterinary medicine? So veterinary medicine ni nadili na ng'ombe, agricultural. That should be Egerton.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Egerton is nadili na hiyo. So we want to thank you guys. So what we'll do a cash transfer so that itakusaidia to make sure umemeza hizo madawa as they said, and you also attend to the physios. It will take some time, but you'll be updating us of the progress. Sawa, tutakuwa to update in case of any other challenge. Utakuwa unatusaidia. So this was Indian gwenye haikuwa na shida, ilikuwa na shida hii.
Hii ndio yenye inaumia. This one. The one nimeumia kutoka hapa hivi. So hata nikijaribu kunua mguu and all the weight comes here. Chungu kabisa. Yeah.
Wow. Okay, so pole sana and all the best. We are also praying for your recovery, and we are also happy that your voices are being loud, are coming out loud. You are fighting for us, both me and you, and we believe that what you people are doing is not in vanity. Thank you for coming out, and I believe that you are part of the change for this society. Home ni wapi?
Home ni Kisii.
Oh, home ni Kisii. Nyamache. Oh, when did you graduate?
2022.
Oh, 2022. So for the last 2 years hujapata kazi bado?
No.
Okay. And we believe someone have a job for Brenda. Akishapona Brenda apate kazi, si ndio? Yeah, and we will be very happy. So thank you very much and may God bless all of us.
If you're treated and discharged within the next few hours, by the time you're at the gate, you are arrested, and now it is from the hospital, of course, going to the police cells. And no one is even charged. They're being arrested so that the police can solicit some funds from them. And that's why she went to the hospital and could not even be there. She was in the hospital for around 20 minutes. Then she found a friend who sneaked her out. So she's been really in pain just kwa nyumba because of that. I think it's not very good. I think police should just have that restraint. Now, I've listened to a speech by Charlene Ruto. Charlene Ruto, apparently, the daughter of the president, was meeting some young people in Nairobi here who are representatives of Gen Z, and I'm just wondering whether we settled the discussion that Gen Z is not they're not having a leader because they don't want dialogue. What they want is actions. And after putting up what they want the government to do, they should just leave the government to do their part. It's the government to act, not to dialogue. The Gen Z approach is just to propose, put up their minds on what they think should be done. And I want you to listen to Charlene Ruto. Just from minute 1 to the end, there is something I want you to notice.
I would like to start my statement by picking up from the second last sentence of my last social media post. It's a statement from our national anthem. May we dwell in unity, peace, and liberty. Unity is what these 47 presidents of county student associations representing 100,000 plus young people from our TVETs, colleges, and universities have demonstrated today by coming together. What is unique about these groups is that they have created systems and structures that combine national and county governments, all the way from having ward reps, constituency reps, cabinet secretaries, and these presidents. They are challenging themselves to understand how leadership and governance works, because in the next few years, they are the next MPs, the next CEOs, the next founders of organizations. Each one of these young people has put behind their own individual ambitions and desires to combat challenges facing their counties, such as quality education, arts, sports and talent promotion, mentorship, and the like. They are organized and have come together with one accord, in common bond, united. I know this because I have interacted and worked with some of you for the past year or so, and I'm very proud of your achievements thus far. Peace is something that has been far from us in recent days. It is something that we are praying for and leading the front in attaining as young people. This is why we stand against the particular protests that have shown no leadership from young people, but rather a push from dark forces to create chaos in a country that we so love. Looted businesses and many days of operation lost for profit-making organizations and community-oriented companies are so disheartening. One of the ways out of poverty is entrepreneurship and business, something we're encouraging our young people to engage in, and something we have to strongly safeguard. I mean, how else will plenty be found within our borders? Liberty is our expression of freedom. We have freely used our voices and platforms to be a part of current affairs. I say we, because I stand before you today, not just as the president's daughter, but as one of you, a young Kenyan passionate about our country's future. I hear your voices, I understand your concerns. The challenges we face as a generation are real and pressing. From unemployment to the rising cost of living, we are all feeling the impact of our current economic situation. I want you to know that your engagement in our nation's affairs is not just welcome, but essential. They all contribute to the vibrant democracy we are building together. At the same time, I urge us all to consider the complexities of governance. Solutions that seem simple often have far-reaching consequences we might not immediately see. This doesn't mean we should stop pushing for change, but that we should approach these issues with nuance and openness to dialogue. As I continue to use my platforms to support all young people, I would like us to engage constructively. Let's criticize when necessary, but also propose solutions. Let's be the generation that's known not just for its passion, but for its innovation in governance and civic participation. I don't have all the answers, and I won't pretend to. But I'm here to listen, to learn, and to work alongside each of you for a Kenya that reflects our hopes and dreams. Our shared love for Kenya is what will indeed move us forward. There are many ways to engage with young people. This is something I've been doing for over the past 2 years in my own ways and formats, and the government is putting together the multi-sectoral forum to formalize that. But each one of us can engage with young people. The Ministry of Youth, for example, already engages with young people. I throw a question back to you. Why aren't we already acknowledging those who are working with the young people, the various organizations, platforms such as the county associations? They've been working in the back end. Yes. And now is when things are coming to the front, that there are various people who've been pushing for young people. So this is not something new, and it's not a current phenomenon, but it's something that has already been happening. What we are saying as young people is we won't allow anybody to use our name to misalign us and to put us away from the right support that we need. Because for us to flourish as young people, we need support of the private sector, the public sector, the government, and that is why we have to stand behind our current government.
Guys, I'm disappointed, even from herself, Charlene, as a person. Why? She's a student of international relations. She's a student of communication. You cannot speak like your father. I did not see her speaking as someone who is remorseful. We've been saying that the president has failed completely to acknowledge that people have been killed. And I believed that even before Charlene Ruto wrote, the people that wrote that press briefing for her, the best thing they would have done is actually even to undo what the father had done by acknowledging that we condole with the family, or rather, you feel for those who have been killed. Let me tell you, the president and his family have completely failed and declined to acknowledge that matter. And that is a bone of contention I have with them personally, because we've always said in the ball here that humanity comes first. Just the other day, just on this Wednesday, we were helping Brenda, and the people that they're not talking about the concern. And since the protest started, I think 4 weeks ago, like 3 weeks ago, it is now that Charlene Ruto is coming up to meet some people and talk about the presence of peace and destruction. Why didn't she speak day one? And of course, peace without acknowledging deaths, the fact that people were killed. I am a bit disgusted, and I'm more disappointed by that speech, because it was actually unnecessary. If there is something that needed to be done, it was very unnecessary. Then the second reason why that the presence in the Charlene Ruto speech was misguided is, one of the issues that has been brought on table by the Gen Zs is, we don't want the office of the first lady, we don't want the office of the second lady, we don't want the office of, I don't know, chief cabinet secretary and so, and even that third daughter or first daughter. No one wants those offices. It is part of the proposal that the public have scrapped. Then, boom, from nowhere, she's coming to address the public in that capacity. So, you know, it's actually against. It shows that despite of the president saying we are listening to you, we are listening to the people, they're not listening to the people. If they were indeed listening to the people, one of the things they would have done is to make sure that president's family is off the picture. Because if people have said we don't want first lady, but I was just seeing the other day that faith diplomacy, there is a performance appraisal, and someone was asking, so how do you appraise the performance of a prayer warrior? You know, how do you evaluate a staff in that office? So clearly, I think that speech was totally misguided. Number three, I think even if President Ruto and Kenya Kwanza wanted to get someone to act as the leader of the Gen Z, the last person you would have thought of is your daughter. That is the last person. Why? There's no difference between what Charlene and Ruto is. Charlene is not gonna be independent. How can she have autonomy? How can she be independent to discuss this matter? Because she has to serve the interest of the father. So I believe, yes, she can have her position, but her mere fact coming over that statement, no, let's accept this dialogue, this or that. She is speaking the voice of the father. So even if government is desperately looking for someone to act as the leader of the Gen Z, I think Charlene Ruto is the last person we would have thought of. Apart from it being miscalculated, it's also, I think, not very creative, even if, just to say the least. MPs have been saying, the other reason why that was misguided is, MPs have been saying that those who are in power are vomiting on others. So Charlene Ruto's speech is far from it. But I have realized that president's family is being planted in government, pole pole. Just yesterday there was a story. And this is the story that Charlene Ruto, not Charlene, John Ruto, who works in the Office of Foreign Affairs, was ambassador somewhere, I think in Poland, if I'm not wrong, or either Poland or Scotland, was picked for some training at the National Defense College. And I know, I listened to Duale saying that there were 67 Kenyans picked, both Kenya and 67 people picked for that training. And how Charlene Ruto made the cut out of millions of Kenyans that maybe are working, around 1 million of us available, that could be viable for that training, is not something that, you know, sometimes you don't need to be very predictable. I know very well that this country, there are countries in Africa, like Uganda, not very far, Uganda, where the first lady is even a minister. There is another country in West Africa where the president, and even still in Uganda, The leader of the military head is actually the son to Museveni. In West Africa, the president and vice president is someone who is a father. The president and the vice president is a son to the president. So clearly there is something going on, and I think it should be a trend that should worry the president, that don't bring your family in this. People have been asking, why did you pick June Ruto? June Ruto is the lady who who wedded in 2020. So yeah, with the Nigerian husband. So she works in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, but then she's now undergoing a training with National Defense College, and people are asking what? That could be a strategy to sneak her in that department, to sneak her in that ministry to some extent. Of course, why? Ruto is facing the heat of losing power. I think it is not good. I think the president family should just keep off the limelight. Ruto is not the first president. We had Uhuru Kenyatta for all those years. I never saw Ngina or Muhoho coming out and engaging in this. Normally, children of the politicians keep off, and it is only the president who is the property of the country. It is the people elected the president. People never elected the daughter, anyway. And so there is a position of youth champion. Who elected you in those positions? It should be a family thing, but don't come out in public about it. I think that needs to, at least someone need to have some little wisdom and think around that. And so the government is keenly looking for forcing a leadership of Gen Z. And I want to tell you why they are looking for fellows, individuals who can act as Gen Z leaders. Number one, they can bribe their way to silence. I agree with what Bonnie Fesmongi was saying, what Wahome Thuku was saying the other day, that if Gen Z allows someone to act as their leader, and I don't support even that Miguna. That Miguna is a tenderpreneur of the masses. He's acting and now projecting himself as the leader of Gen Z because he's realized that Gen Z lacks, no one is around. And they're looking for someone who can combat William Ruto. And Miguna realized that the protest revolution is happening in the social media. So, and he's been active on Twitter, so he wants to lead it. But I think I support the thinking that they should not engage in thinking. They should not engage in sort of dialogue, because what they need to do is to have the discourse. Let the government listen. Let the government hear what the people are saying. It is not a must that you meet some 10 people in a room. For example, representation in this country is overrated. Even if you take 100 people, these 100 people, they are not going to represent the 30 million youth in the country. There's no guarantee they are going to represent the 30 million. They're going to represent their thoughts. And of course, this is a guided democracy. That is going to be a guided dialogue. The government is going to come with the terms, the TOR. Yeah. Let's discuss this. You've listened to the president saying, let's discuss how we are going to settle our debt. But myself and the Gen Z are saying, before we discuss how we are going to settle our debts, let's discuss which are those debts. So the first starting point is publish the debt register so that we know which debts we are paying. They're also saying audit those debts. The president wants people to discuss how they're going to be paid. But the Gen Z are saying, before we discuss how they're going to be paid, let's discuss how are they spent. Because we are still borrowing, so that we know where we start, what we need to stop. How are they and how are they spent? And which debts are they? Who are these people we owe this money? So we need to think around that. So if they allow, it's going to be bribed and it's going to be guided. The other second reason why government is looking for leadership, to impose some leadership, is that will be a political fulcrum. They've realized that moving forward, there is a persuasion message that you must do. There is a team there is part of the population you must struggle to convince, the young people. So if you get these leaders, you will be able to put them in some, caucus and now start running, making them form a political party. Then probably as UDA makes a merger, you merge, then you move through. It is just a political maneuver, and that's why Charlene Ruto is in the picture. I think Ruto also wants to run some publicity campaigns, because one thing is, whatever has happened has dented their image. And it's true, it's a vote of no confidence. So they're looking for people around who can accept, so that when there is a working relationship together, they can run some campaigns. But I think the trend, we also need to look at the trend why the president's family are coming over to be active in the Kenyan politics, where they have been brought in the picture. That's equally very important. And I'm looking at that because it is not just it is just a mere coincidence that Charlene Ruto is coming over. You know, he's been doing things, but I think he needed to step back. President, there's some sign from this. The president is in panic, and I think when he's sitting with the family are feeling like the father is going home. Yes, they're feeling like he's losing power. In fact, what is the greatest worry of President Ruto is, am I going to be re-elected in second term? It's not whether that plan is going to be implemented or not. His only fear is, am I going to be re-elected? So if you see the president acting by Charlene Ruto coming through, this is act of panic. Someone who is in panic, and you know, probably they've seen how the father is talking with the closed doors, and they're like, now we also need to come out and defend. But they need to know that the country doesn't belong even to the president's family. No. The only person who was on ballot is President Ruto. So that is the only property. President Ruto is our property as a country. Yes, but not the family, not the children, not the wife, not the niece, not so and so. So I don't know why we are even bringing this forth. Now the other second thing is, there are serious trust and insecurity issues. I may not be shocked if Charlene Ruto, if June Ruto, the lady who is undertaking some training with the military, could be making her way there. Yes, I may not be shocked, because even I'm told during the recent deployment to CBD, this deployment, there was a lot of back and forth, and even the reason why the security team from Nairobi, Bungei, had to be reshuffled is there was a lot of back and forth. At what point should we bring the military? And the security team in Nairobi kept on saying things are going to be better, and so don't bring the military. And even the military bosses did not welcome. They were not of the opinion to bring in the military at that critical time. And you even see the court saying, you know, that's not one of the best things that could have happened, even for those who are making that decision. Now, I'm a bit shocked because the president's web is gathering. The president team is gathering, is creating a web. I've just seen a Twitter from Nyakundi now. Let's just read this. Nyakundi is saying, "Hi, Mr. President William Ruto. I have received these about your family. Good morning, Nyakundi. I urge you to investigate the following institutions. One is Vanguard KE, located in Westlands and reportedly owned by Nick Ruto. Raha Fest, this event company allegedly spends between 500 million to 700 million shillings of state resources to host international artists like Davido and Yalevis. They plan to exceed $1 billion in expenditures this December, with activities ongoing as of August. TSAP Threads, owned by George Ruto. This company sponsors events such as the Korom Festival at Carnival, Raha Fest, Shoka Fest, and Summer Tides Diani using Kenyan resources. TSAP translates to 7 in Kalenjin. Smart Foundation, owned by Charlene Ruto, with pretense of beekeeping. Ticket Raha, owned by Nick Ruto. Watch out for these companies. This is where the Kenyan Youth Fund is being diverted. These entities are misusing state funds meant for the youth to sponsor events and clubs, draining resources from Kenya's struggling economy." I will be comfortable, probably that direction. Maybe uko. But to see now, one thing you see is the moment, and in the finance bill, there is a clause that was introduced that there is no conflict of interest if a governor gives a tender to his wife or his child. So long as whatever is to be delivered is delivered, there is no conflict of interest. And that is why there is a bigger problem. I think the likes of Charlene Ruto must just keep off, because from what the members of the public are consuming, they're part and parcel of the problem. And, you know, I'm wondering, if you want to know is in panic, in parliament, the senators are now speaking a different language. That's why the likes of Charlene Ruto are now coming out to maybe put up a statement. Thank you.